Another question that's coming from the Twitter feed from Briar is really about the relationship between OER and learning design, in the sense that, week two we talked quite a lot about context and about how you always design for a particular context. Now, if I design a resource for use in my teaching environment, then ideally it would be optimized for my context and therefore sub-optimized for your context. So there's a tension there when you want to use a resource that was actually designed for a context that's different from yours. And I don't know if you have any kind of insights about how people adapt and repurpose resources that have actually come from a very different context.
Yeah, I think we've got some experience in this. I mean, there's, I think, from the UK OER evidence, mixed evidence about whether OER are used more if they're designed context-free or in context. I think what is true is it's much easier to create OER as a byproduct of your work if you're not trying to decontextualize them. So if we're sort of looking at that world of open practice where people habitually release their stuff, you're far less likely to get stuff that is immediately something that can be taken up and used as is. Another way of thinking about it is that I really think that most of the benefit that most people get from OERs is often not actually using any part of an OER literally, but getting ideas from them or suggestions, and then not actually ever taking any concrete thing from it, but having seen all these, using it for benchmarking, using it for inspiration. So just because you haven't contextualized it doesn't mean that somebody isn't going to get some value from it. And even if you never see anybody take the thing that you created and use it wholesale, you can't know who has got ideas from it, or who has has seen it and it's made them think about what they want to do. Dave always likes Helen Beetham's quote, which is, what is it? Openness is the enemy of knowability.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an element of, I mean, let's go back to the start of the interweb nets, and the internet was obviously created to be almost entirely to facilitate kind of frictionless sharing. I don't know what you'd call it, but the point about it is that you put stuff up onto the web and people can do anything they like with it and put it anywhere they like. And I can remember teaching people how to make websites back in the mid-90s, I suppose, and everybody was really shocked when I said, look, go to somebody else's site, find out what URL their image is, go to your web page, paste that in, and their image appears on your website. Okay, it's a completely different paradigm to print, and I think that Marion, you make an interesting point about how you can't, if you share stuff openly, you don't get to decide how it gets used. Okay, the best that you can do is to have a proper citation. That I think you can sort of say, well, hang on, that's my stuff, but you didn't cite me. But how it's appropriated is up to the other person. This is the kind of contract that you're entering into when you do stuff online. Personally, I haven't found too much of a problem with it. It's something that everybody struggles with, though. I know that somebody I know writes a lot of books about art, and conceptual artists would say, well, the meaning of the art is between whatever the person brings to it, and so she's written in her books, well, I think this piece of art means X, and she's actually been phoned up by the artist and said, no, it doesn't mean that at all, it means this, despite the fact that they said it was a complete piece of conceptual art. So we find it difficult to share and be reinterpreted in this really open way. But I think that this is how the word functions, and this is where it functions really well. So I think in terms of the benefits of producing OER, it's I don't want to go too kind of highfalutin here, but I think it's part of our responsibility, certainly in, say, the higher education sector, to share what we know and to share it as openly as possible.